you know, my background is very varied. I have a very unique background for the industry, not without exception, but with few compares, okay? So I grew up in a family business, okay? So I've done steel fabricating, and I'm 43, and I can say, honestly, I have 35 years of experience in the construction industry, and I'm not exaggerating. I can tell you without a doubt that I've been in the shop since I was probably about, I'm guessing 6, right? It's either 6 or 7. And I've been on construction sites since not long after that, whether it be directly involved or with my dad. So I've been here. I've done all this. My earliest memory is I was in our steel shop. My first job was to peel the paint off the floor. Now, I was small enough to crawl underneath the truck and peel the paint off the floor with no problems, so I know I was young. As well as one of my earlier jobs that I remember is we were doing at St. Thomas Aquinas College. My dad was doing an entry in there, and there was a 48 by big-ass beam. I don't know what that number is. I wish I did, but I have pictures of it. And it was in the middle of the shop. We had a small shop, not more than 2,500 square feet. Microscopic shop. I'm not kidding. This beam was 48 inches tall. It was at least 18 inches wide, somewhere in that range from my memory. Now remember, I'm just a little tot, so don't judge me by my exact poundage, please. But and then it had to be on the order of 60, maybe 70 feet long. I just don't remember. I know that it was a main girder going over an opening. That's all I remember. I've never seen the college, so don't know exactly what it'd be. But, so my dad had laid this out in there, and I was in there working with him on a Saturday or night. I don't really remember which. Both of them were very possible. And he handed me a Hogan drill, which is a magnetic drill. And basically it drills a hole and shoots out a slug, okay? So he hands me a Hogan drill. Now I'm 6, I'm 7, like I say 8, I don't know, really young. And I remember going, thanks, Dad, you know? And then I'm like, what do you want me to do with this? He says, crawl in that hole and drill holes. I'm like, what do you mean crawl in that hole? Well, the beam, it gives you a half flange, about that wide, and he had stacked it, so it was probably it was no more than 2 feet. That I know for a fact, because the drill would just give me enough room to operate. And he'd say in there, just go in there and drill. And I was in there for hours drilling holes through this beam. I remember it so vividly. That was one of my first jobs that I remember 100% in the shop doing. And I can't believe, because by today's standards, nobody would go in there, but that's what I did. So that's where I started. I worked in the family business all through high school and college, done multiple jobs on site, including road jobs and everything else, and set steel. After college, I went to college. Our business had split into 2 divisions, a structural division and a miscellaneous division. We did products and stuff, which I'm very proud of, and that was actually the reason I followed the engineering thing, because on weekends we had our Saturday morning talks, and my dad would sit there with a problem, and what he was trying to solve for this machine to do or get done in the shop or whatever be the case. And we would sit there and we would literally draw out solutions. Now, granted, I'm 10, 11, 12 years old doing this with my dad, and just the exercise of solving these problems was priceless to me. Didn't know it at the time, but it certainly is without a doubt now. Then, we would go from there, and then we'd go and actually build them in the shop. So, I started out old school. I've been detailing since I was probably about 14 or so, which detailing is drawing out your parts and pieces so the shop can fabricate them to a 1/16 of an inch tolerance, put the things together, and they actually turn into something that means it at the end of the day, whether it be rails, beams, machinery, equipment, you name it, I've done them all. So I went through, based on what we were doing in the products division, I went into mechanical engineering, and I got my 4-year in mechanical engineering. A little aside is when I was I did an associate's degree, and then I went into the transfer program for my second 2 years. So when what's that?
Oh, where'd you go? Just to school?
Well, I always quip that I did the SUNY tour. I did Hudson Valley, SUNY Canton, and SUNY Binghamton. And do not call it Binghamton University because it's not SUNY Binghamton. Anyway, I'm still of old school, sorry. But anyway, so what I found really interesting is at the end of your associate's degree, basically your associate's degree prepared us for multiple fields. Okay, in the engineering, it was engineering science, so you're able to go into multiple fields. But our program was more or less aimed at electrical or mechanical, which in my opinion is basically engineering. That narrow covers most of what engineering is. I know there's a lot of adjacent fields, but most of them tie back right into this core. And we had to decide whether we were going electrical or mechanical. Now, for me, that was about that long. That's how long it took me to be, because I cannot calculate an electrical circuit to save my life. But I understand mechanics, and I understand, the way properties work. So from there, I went to the Watson School at SUNY Binghamton, and I got my bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering. After college, I took a job right here at Rensselaer, and I did sprinkler design, which who would have figured? Now, the fact that I can do sprinkler design but I can't do electrical design still blows my mind, because they're exactly the same. So I did sprinkler design and contracting for 2 years, and then I went back into the family business, and that was the structural division at that point. My dad had retired, and the products division had closed. So I was in the structural division. I was there for 9 years. Probably, I'm trying to remember exactly when, probably about 4 years into my tenure there, I realized that I didn't know enough to be able to build the business where I wanted it to go. Being it was a family business, and I wasn't able to do what I wanted to do, so I was limited. I could do the calculations, but they would say, "Yeah, why do you know how to do the calculations?" So I went back. I got a structural design certificate from RIT, which is I got to do all the hard courses of a bachelor degree. I didn't have to redo all the soft courses, which I was very proud of and happy to do. But that was on top of a full-time, work gig. After getting that, a few years down the road, the opportunity came up to transition, to go from the construction side, the execution side, into the design side. And that's where I started working with my boss, which I'm blessed to have worked with her without a question. I'm still in contact with her to this day. Definitely formed my career, really gave me the step I needed to go professionally.